Hello, and welcome back to another episode of OG's Travels. If you saw my premiere video a few days ago, then you will know that I'm the old guy, OG, and I'm looking to change occupations. I'm going from food and beverage to teaching, and along the way, I haven't had too many interviews, so I'm gonna tell about a few of them and how they turned out. Now, I live in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and there's no jobs here, so I've had to travel around the state. Uh, one interview took me to New Orleans, specifically Jefferson Parish, and it was on last Halloween night. So I'm driving my old truck, going through New Orleans, through Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and as I'm going through New Orleans, I notice the temperature gauge starts fluctuating on my truck. So New Orleans has two big bridges that go over the Mississippi River, and it's bumper to bumper. And I'm looking at my temperature gauge, and it's just going back and forth. So I'm getting nervous because I don't want to break down in the middle of the bridge in the middle of all that mess. So thankfully, I got off the bridge, and as I'm going on the West Bank Expressway, the engine blew up or died, and I was able to pull off on the side of a bridge on the overpass on the West Bank Expressway. I belong to AAA, so I called AAA for a tow. They said it would be about an hour, and so I waited. About 45 minutes later, I get a call from a driver in Baton Rouge. He told me he won't be there for another 2 hours. So I thought that was strange, having to come from Baton Rouge to New Orleans to pick me up. Okay, so I called AAA again, and they said they didn't have anybody in New Orleans, so that's the best I could do. All right. So I waited. Eventually get there, and the guy took me to the shop and parked it. Nobody's there, so he was kind enough to give me a ride to a motel. And because I don't know where I am, one thing. I get up in the morning, take an Uber to the shop. They can't fix it. They can't work on it. So I called a tow truck, another AAA tow truck, and this time they were there in 10 minutes to take me to another shop. And I leave it there, and I take an Uber back to my motel. Well, the next day, the shop calls me, and they say they can't do it. The engine blew up. Okay, fine. So meanwhile, I missed my interview because I had no transportation, and that's just the way it is. So next day, I rented a car. I made arrangements to get my old truck junked. So I went and got the rental car and waited by the shop for the junkyard to come get it. And I got $145 for it, and I was just take it. I don't even care if you give me money, just take it. So I drive home. Another interview I had was with a charter school here in Lake Charles. I go in, and the principal calls me in, and I come in, and there's three other teachers there. They introduce themselves, but they just look at me. And don't say a word, don't ask me any questions. But the principal asked me about 5, 6 questions maybe. The whole thing lasted 5 minutes. The principal got up, went to the door, opened the door, and said thank you. I got up, thanked everybody, and left. I knew I didn't have that job. Those are just two examples of some of the interviews I've had. There's been some, I've had some good ones, but I figure that my age might have something to do with why I don't get it, because I have a master's degree. But it is what it is, and I have to fight through it. Eventually, somebody will find me. So I am making arrangements to move. I have given my notice in my apartment here, and I'll be moving out by the end of the month, next week. And I'm not going to say where I'm going yet, but along the way, as I'm moving, I'll be doing another video talking about why I'm moving and where I'm moving to. And then as my journey west, I'll do a little step by step. And then once I get there, I'll tell what I'm doing. So I hope that you come back. I think this video is a little bit better than the first one. I hope anyway. So if you find this interesting and want to see if this old guy gets a job, gets a teaching job, or if he gets any type of job, please continue to subscribe and check back and see how I'm doing. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on another episode of OG's Travels. Bye.